Hello, I'm just going to talk to you about your end of year exams that are coming up between the 26th of June and the 7th of July. You will have received a document that looks like the one on the screen, and that is basically your timetable for the 2 weeks. I'm just going to take a bit of time explaining this to you. So the most important thing is that you will not be following your normal timetable for these 2 weeks. You're going to be in one particular classroom for that 2 weeks, with a couple of notable exceptions. So these are the assessments indicated in yellow. These will all happen in a computer room. Your art assessment in green, that will be in an art room, and we'll have PE lessons built in, and these are indicated in the peach colour in the timetable shown on the screen. To find out exactly which rooms you're in, just use the codes, the key at the bottom of the screen there. So assessments will happen periods 1 and 2 and 5 and 6, so first thing in the morning and straight after lunch. And as I say, these will be in the classroom you're allocated to, or a computer room or an art room. Mention PE lessons. You will need your PE kit on these days, and we also have the St Peter and St Paul Mass. Now you will need to wear your school uniform on this day, because we have the Mass in the morning as normal, and then we will go into sports day, so competitors will be able to change into their PE kit following the Mass. We will have a structured activity at the start of each afternoon, so there'll be no form period. You'll go to your allocated room, and the member of staff who is allocated with you will go through a little activity with you just to get you in the right mindset for an afternoon assessment. Now, we have structured revision time in periods 3 and 4. Now, if you are in year 10, your exams are obviously going to be in the sports hall, or the main sports hall or the little sports hall, but you will also have an allocated room where you'll be doing structured revision time as well. So for all students in periods 3 and 4, we're going to have some time with your member of staff given to you to make sure that you're doing some revision. As I say, this is going to be in periods 3 and 4, and we expect all students to be actively revising, not passively reading a revision guide. So a couple of ideas for you. Flashcards. Little cards where you can write information on one side, maybe a question, and the answer on the other side. And once you've got a little set of these, you can test yourself with them. You can test each other, and you can take them around with you, take them home and get friends and family to test you there as well. And we aim to provide a couple of boxes of cards in each room, just to allow you to get going with these. Mind maps. These are a wonderful visual way of revising. A couple of examples on the screen there. They are very colourful. It's important to use colour when constructing these. And the idea with these is that you link ideas together. So you put your knowledge down on paper, and you use the arrows to kind of say how does this link to that, and how does that link to the other. It's a really high level revision skill, this. The one on the right of the screen I particularly like. It has diagrams in and very few words. It's really good. I said these are visual. Really good to have some visual representation of some ideas, and not just big chunks of text, if at all possible. And note taking. So there are a number of ways of taking notes, and one such way I'm just going to demonstrate on the screen. So I've put a set of notes about photosynthesis on the screen, and you basically construct your page with a margin down the left and a margin at the bottom. And in the section I've highlighted in yellow there, you would write your notes in exactly the same way as you do a mind map. You use diagrams where possible and lots of colour to make the key things stand out. And then in the left-hand margin, you would draw out some key words, some key ideas about the notes you've just made, and a little summary at the bottom. And then importantly, you need to use these notes. So what you would do is you would take them, you would cover up the note section with a piece of paper, and you can use the keywords in the summary here to remind you of the key ideas, and then see if you can redo the notes on the paper. And obviously you can lift up the paper to check if needs be. So in order to prepare for the exams, we're going to ask that all students spend the next week making sure they have a full pencil case ready for the exams. That will include in them a black pen plus a spare, and then standard stationery such as pencils, rulers, pencil sharpeners, calculators. They are the essentials. Pairs of compasses, sets, squares, coloured pencils are optional as well. We expect the weather to be warm over the 2 weeks, so please, can you bring a water bottle and make sure you fill those up at the appropriate time, and that would be before school break and lunchtime. And then for that structured revision, you're going to need to bring in the resources with which to do that revision. We will provide stationery where we can, but you're going to need to bring your revision guide, revision workbook, certainly your exercise book, and of course if you've made any resources such as mind maps or flashcards, please bring those in so you can be using them in those sessions too. We are going to ask that every student also brings a reading book. So at the start of each exam, on your desk, you will need to have your pencil case and your reading book. And when the exam is finished, there may be some time at the end of the lesson. There will almost certainly be some time where students who are entitled to extra time are still working. We want them to have the same conditions for that extra time as everybody gets for the main body of the exam. So the room will still remain silent. And so we'll need the reading book out on the desk at the start of the exam, so we're not rooting through bags. We are going to ask the members of staff in the room to make sure that before students pick up their reading book, that they have checked their exam paper, checked that they've answered every question fully, and then checked what they've written. So you should be using the full time of the exam that you're allocated to be doing the exam, rather than finishing it early and then picking up your reading book. In terms of revision, that should have started already, and we're obviously giving you time during the week to do that, but you will need a revision timetable to do revision effectively. This allows you to plan out your revision, make sure you're revising for the right assessments at the right times, and make sure that you've covered all the assessment that you're going to sit. In terms of personal preparation, make sure you are sleeping well. Make sure that you are not up all night revising, and certainly not worrying. No one should be worrying about any exams. Just do your best is all we can ask. And then please make sure you're fueling yourself. Although it's just sitting there doing an exam, it is quite taxing, and you will require to have you will need to have a good breakfast and certainly a good lunch in order to fuel you and give you the energy for the exams and the day. Just remains for me to say good luck in your exams, and I hope they go well for you.